Welcome to the Rewards Master Live. Really good to be with you today. Let me get this adjusted a little better. There we go. Well, I don't know if we have anybody in yet. Well, hopefully, some people will be jumping in momentarily. But tonight, because last week it seemed like people are more appreciative of a Monday night live than they were my Sunday afternoon lives. This is the only time I can do it on Mondays is a little bit earlier than normal, but hopefully this works for many people. It looks like we got about 4 in here right now. Dem is in the building. Hey Dem, good to see you. Good to have you in tonight. Let's see. No other comments just yet. So tonight, what I have planned is what I was originally going to do was just to talk about some different comments and things on the video as I often on my videos as I often do. But there's a new development, and that is the AA Executive Refresh, and that's PMart Supermart says right here. Did you see the Advantage Executive Refresh? And the answer is yes, I did, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. And in fact, I haven't gotten to study it closely, but I do have it pulled up, and I'm going to go through it and we'll talk about it because it may impact whether it's a keeper card in my wallet or not. In fact, just 2 days ago, I was going through my different cards and seeing what I could trim and not, and I kind of made a decision on the elite card. Probably going to trim it down. It just doesn't bring extra value. I do love that you can do city night shenanigans and things of that nature, but I get 5x anyway on the prestige card. So it's like, is it really that valuable? Does it bring me anything extra? It's just another hotel credit to worry about. So probably going to trim that. Probably going to trim down the Venture X. I just don't see a world in which I need to have it. And I was struggling. Do I get rid of the Globe or do I get rid of the Executive? I mean, I did go to like 27 lounges last year that were AA lounges, so I wouldn't have that many. So that's a difficult thing to decide. But I like the Globe a lot better for status. So that's what makes it a little bit hard. So I'm going to go through some of that. Mike Nolan's here. Hey, Mike, good to see you. The man, the myth, the legend. Dim is here. It says spicy. And Calder's like the video today. All right. Well, thank you. Actually, my mom had surgery and I was sitting in the waiting room at the hospital when I did that because just don't have a lot of time. My professional life is very busy right now. Just don't have a lot of time to be able to make videos and edit. And I thought, well, I can still put out the information. So I just did it with my phone. So I hoped it worked out okay, even though it wasn't the most polished thing in the world. Gentleman Explorer says, hey, Bop. Hey, Gentleman Explorer. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. All right. We got 18 people watching. That's awesome. Don't know how many have hit the like button, but do that if you haven't done so already. Mike says, I hope your mom is doing okay. She came through the surgery very well. It was an amputation, actually, and it's actually going to be better for her in the long run. But it's still, touch and go and scary at the time, but I think she's going to be okay. Dem, Venture X might be difficult to get back if you close it. It would be, but, here's the thing, Dem. I got thinking about it. The 2X I can replicate. I mean, I can, even if somehow the Palladium got nerfed, I mean, I could just use Blue Business Pluses or, double cash or whatever to get the 2X. And what else about the card do I love? I mean, I do love the Capital One offers, but I assume if I go down to a Venture or a Venture One, I'll still get Capital One offers. And it's just, I mean, I don't use the lounge because I'm not going to pay that extra for the authorized user. So that's kind of where it's at. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Tell me if I'm missing something. What would you do if the Prestige goes away? I think they'd likely product change that to a CSE. Yeah. If the Prestige goes away, I think where I'm at right now, because what I love about the Prestige is the dining. That's where it is. If the Prestige goes away, I'm probably going to go down to a Premier and use my Atmos Summit for my dining because I do get 3.3 on that. Gentleman Explorer, hope mom as well. How do you stay so fit given your penchant for fast food? Well, I don't know that I'm that fit. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. My health numbers aren't that bad, but I guess I do. And I don't eat a lot of like burger fast food. I do eat some Taco Bell. Maybe it's not quite as unhealthy as the others. Who knows? Or maybe that's wishful thinking. So who knows? Okay. This one affects the rewards master, and that is Citi announced, I think it was today, August 3rd, yeah, 8 o'clock a.m., that American Airlines and Citi are elevate premium travel with enhanced Citi AA Executive World Legend MasterCard. So what that means is they're enhancing, which means they're raising the fee and they're changing the card. I kind of did a quick, they're saying this refresh card delivers 2,300 in value. You always got to be careful with that on any card, taking that at face value. And you really got to be careful with American Airlines cards because that they say is value, like the old Lyft credit. Seems like that one's gotten better, but I don't know. So I'm going to do a little math while we're going through this, and I'll break it up every now and again and go ahead and keep up with some of the comments. But new and enhanced. Let's see what it's given us. Now, the new fee is $695 a year, so it's going up $100. Well, I could probably handle $100 if the card's worth it. Let's see what it says. $500 back on eligible American Airlines vacations. Every calendar year, earn $500 in statement credit on eligible American Airline vacation travel packages or experiences. Has anybody used American Airlines vacations? Delta has them, United has them. I have never used anything of that sort. And so I don't know if they're good deals or if they're not good deals. I don't know how long you've got to go for. I don't have any idea. But if that is a usable $500, and that is a big if, because I'm going to have to research it a little bit, that goes a long way to cutting off $695 down to $195. So that's a question that has to be answered. The other thing is up to $100 back in in-flight eligible Admirals Club purchases. Well, I wouldn't make any Admirals Club purchases, but $100 in-flight, I do use that on the Globe card because I buy me some snack boxes. And I know those flight attendants think it's crazy when I ask them for 4 snack boxes, but hey, get $100 credit on the Globe card. So I would say that's worth $100. That might be worth $50 to me objectively. Don't know exactly how to judge that. Well, before we get to the rest, let's go back and catch up on some comments. I don't want to get too far behind. Dem, have you looked at Capital One offers yet? I try to keep 1 point earning card in that ecosystem. Just picked up the Venture One just for the access. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I'll just drop down to Venture One just to get that. Okay. Excuse me, Nick. Well, if I can get my computer here to work. Just got done reading the new update. Curious to see what you think of it. Yep, that's what we're going through. Coder, afternoon. Hey, Coder. I think, are you the one who on the Discord was asking about the exec card? Well, that's what we're going through right now. Matt Clausen says howdy. If you haven't seen Matt's channel, he's got a YouTube channel. Talks a lot about all this stuff, credit cards and things. Check it out. Juan Garcia, good afternoon. Bob, hey Juan, good to have you here. We got 23 people in here. Isn't the Lyft credit just normal MasterCard benefit? I think it is, but it's one I don't always use. I'm going to check out how they've changed it because they have changed it. Mike Newland says never. I think he's referring to not having ever used the vacation packages. P-Mart Supermart. I booked Delta vacations going to Boston next month. Okay. What kind of what does it cost? I mean, what kind of deals do they have on there? Let me know. Gentleman Explorer, do you take into consideration AA's inclination for delaying domestic flights when taking into consideration the valid value of AA miles? I don't. I mean, how do you figure that? I mean, yeah, they do have delayed flights, but I've had delayed flights on Delta. I mean, granted, it's less often on Delta, but it does happen. And I've had just about as many on United. So how do you factor that in? Calder's, the 25% off on the AA Mile Up Platinum is good, especially when they delay your flight. Okay. Makes sense. 25% off in flight. Right. Yeah, that's good. I mean, but $100 credit, that goes a long way. Stinky Monkey Baby, best name on YouTube. It says, "Hi, everybody. Good to have you here, Stinky Monkey Baby, whatever one you want to be called by." James in Arizona. Hey, Bob. I have the executive card as well. I like the changes. There is some gaming you can do with AA vacations. Use the credit to book a hotel or rental car or flight and rental car. So they give you some options. Is that what you're telling me, James? They give you some options as to what you're going to combine together in that vacation package? Damn, I've had more Delta cancellations and delays this year than AA, despite having flown AA 3 times more. Yeah, I mean, I know that AA has that reputation. They also have the reputation of being like the worst flight attendants, and they're not now. I mean, I mean, sometimes you get a not great one, but I've had the best flight attendants on AA this year as well. So I don't know. I don't know if those kind of generalizations should be considered. Okay, so we said there's a $500 back on American Airlines vacation purchases. I don't know. I've got to figure that one out if it's valuable. I haven't gotten to research it yet. $100 back on in-flight. So I'm gonna let's just go ahead and figure the vacations thing at I don't know, $300, and then I'm figuring the other at $50 out of the 100, the 180 in Lyft credits. After taking 3 eligible rides in a calendar month, you get 15. I'm going to count that as 0 because the 3 eligible rides thing is stupid. I mean, it is dumb. So, wow. 12x on advantage miles on eligible hotels. That's better. That's better than the 10x. And I do like AA hotels on occasion, especially to boost my loyalty points. So that's good. New loyalty points milestones. This is utterly meaningless to me because they give 10,000 at 50,000, I think. Yeah, 10,000 at 50,000 points. That one helps. That's the only one I use because I'm only shooting for platinum status. I don't try to go higher. So I'm going to really focus more on my Atmos status, I think, because of the perks it gives on American. So I'm going to keep my American status, but I'm not going to use the 90. I have used the 90 in the past. You know, you get the extra 10 at 90,000, but then you get it at 165,000, 240,000. I'm not getting there. So that's really meaningless to me. This is the one that's really weird. The Omni Hotels and Resorts champion status and the Omni free night reward. So I've never stayed in an Omni hotel or resort that I can think of. I've heard of them, but I haven't stayed in them. You get their status, champion status. I don't know if it says that there's their second highest status. Includes early check-in, late checkout, room upgrades. Doesn't say anything about free breakfast. But then it says that once per calendar year, primary card members can earn a free night after completing a qualified stay of 2 or more consecutive nights booked directly through Omni hotels. Enrollment is required. So the way I read that is that it's not a discount on it like FHR or the Edit Collection or those things are. In other words, it doesn't take it off or refund it directly. You got to pay for 2 nights, consecutive nights in one of those through Omni hotels, and then you earn a free night. I'm going to have to research that, but I'm not thinking I love that idea. I'm not thinking I love it. And then it says complimentary Avis President's Club status. Already got that, so doesn't mean all that much. Let me see. James says you have to choose 2 out of 3 choices, flight, hotel, or rental cars on AA vacations. Okay. All right. James, have you found it to be a decent deal? I mean, what have you thought about it? Silver 3ism says, I just got approved for the Built Palladium 50,000 limit. Okay, great. Only have the AA Platinum and Globe card. Might consider getting the updated one if it's good. Well, that's what we're trying to determine. And it might be better for some than others. Somebody who's trying to reach really high status or milestones and their loyalty points, I think it might be pretty good. That doesn't fit me anymore. So I'm just trying to get to platinum because I just want my main cabin extra seats. A tier, late, but I'm here. Hey, tier, good to have you here. Coworker says, hey, good to have you here, coworker. Source King, good to have you here. Spreadsheet Warrior. I end up flying a lot of AA due to the ease and value of booking with Atmos. They keep offering me the Globe card without a sub. Give me a sub or give me death. Yeah, I wouldn't get it without a sub. No way. I think we got 90,000 points when we got it. Mike Newland did an FHR in San Antonio at an Omni. It was a perfect visit. Okay. Omnis are good. What's their prices like, though? Because, I mean, you're going to have to pay for 2 hotel nights to get it. Damn, last time a credit card program had any type of Omni benefit, it went under a month later. Mesa. Yeah, but this is a city card, so they're not going to go under. Remember, Dim used to work for them. Dim, they have some really nice properties. Okay, good. Sleepy Rod, I recall you mentioning you're potentially downgrading the exec card. That's exactly right. And I'm going to talk about that at the end of this discussion because I have to make some choices on it. Nick, AA has worse premium card. Well, do they? I don't know. I think the United one's pretty bad. The Delta Reserve is great. I mean, but I don't know if it's worse or not than the United one. Dem stayed the JFK Suite in Omni Parker House in Boston. Okay, was it good? Silver says, I stayed at the Omni in Colinas, booked with HTC, got upgraded to a suite, thought it was a nice hotel. Very good. And CG says, hey, Bop, good to have you here, CG. All right, so the Avis President's Club, kind of meaningless. Existing benefits you still get. 4x advantage miles, so you get 4x for all of your flights that you book with the card. Okay, it's what you get now. 120 back on prepaid Avis and Hertz rentals, or Avis and budget rentals. Yeah, I've used that every year. That's easy credit to get back. Global entry TSA, free check bags, airport experience, protections, and World Legend MasterCard. So it's transitioning to World Legend. And there's some benefits that come with having a World Legend card. And then they talk a lot about the Admirals Club, but it doesn't seem like it changes all that much. You still get 2 guests or your immediate family. Talks about some new Admirals Clubs, some revamped ones, and how they're trying to improve the food. And I will say they have improved the food in Admirals Club. So to be fair, they have. Okay, so that's what you're getting for the $695. So the benefit, I got to say, I guess the card's better. The one thing you're not getting anymore is the $10 Grubhub. But man, I'd always forget that one because that one was based upon when your statement cuts, not like monthly, like first of the month to the 30th of the month, like most of them are. That one was based upon when your statement cuts. So it was harder for me with my spreadsheet to keep track of. So that's the one I missed out more often on than some of the others. So that's kind of the thing. I mean, the fact that that's going away is not a big deal. The 120 with Avis or budget, that one's pretty easy to justify. I'll use that easy. The in-flight credit, I'll use that pretty easy. It's this $500 back on a vacation. I'm just not sure if I'll use that. Maybe. I've got to research that. So potentially this could be a better card than it is because it is only $100 more than it is now. So that's the question. And then the free night at Omni. I got to see how much can you get an Omni hotel for per night? Are we talking 2 nights at $1,000 a night where I'm going to have to spend $2,000 to get a free night? Or are we talking 2 nights at $250 a night where I'm having to spend $500? If anybody stayed at Omnis and paid for them, I would really like to know kind of a range. So let's go back to some comments and discuss it a little bit more. Gentleman Explorer, been flying a lot of domestic AA this year. Flight attendants are nice. Can't remember the last one that took off on time. Maybe it's an industry-wide plague. Yeah, I mean, that does happen. But I have found that even when they take off a little bit late, they've gotten me there pretty much on time. So maybe that's okay. Matt says, seems the exec is still good for Admirals Club and fast tracking status. Also, AA changed their Admirals Club membership options, slashed a bunch of options, and now single membership for $750. So, yeah, if you just were going to buy a membership, this is a good deal. Matt, and the membership tier with guests and partners will run $1,400, and that's about it for membership tiers. Yeah, that's nuts. That is nuts. I guess somebody's paying it, but James in Arizona, the exec card also grants access to Alaska lounges. It does, but I have the Summit card, so I get some of that anyway. Mike Newland, the wording on that $500 statement credit seems a little odd compared to other credit cards that we see those type of credits on. It does, but I mean, when I'm reading it, it says up to $500 back on eligible American Airlines vacation purchases. Every year, earn up to $500 in statement credits on eligible American Airlines vacation, travel packages, or experiences. So I get the idea that if you pay with your card and you pay with American Airlines vacations, you're getting up to $500 back. So if you spend $300, you're getting $300. If you're spending $700, you're getting $500. So that's kind of how it seems. Farragut says, hello. Good to have you here, Farragut. Mike says we stayed in San Antonio. It was $293 a night. Okay. It's not too bad. So you get a free night cert after spending basically $600. Okay, I'll have to think that one through. I just ran a quick search. This is Family Travel John for a flight and car on area vacations. It was cheaper than the flight booked direct and the car booked through Costco Travel, which is usually about 35% off of the rack rate. Really? Okay, that's pretty decent. And I go and do some consulting and stuff, so, and that gets reimbursed. So I could maybe utilize that pretty easy. James in Arizona stayed at the Omni Seaport in Boston, 2 nights where I think $750, and I had an Amex Platinum offer of $150 back when spending $500 that I used. Okay. So 2 nights, $750, that's about $375 a night. So yeah, that's a little bit, maybe a little bit on the upper end of what I'm willing to do or want to do. Source King, I went to college in the north side of Chicago, a couple blocks away from a strip club called the Admiral. Whenever I hear Admiral's Club, I think of the Admiral. Okay. That I'm glad that's not what comes to my mind. So that's funny. James, it is $250 for the first half of the year and $250 for the second half. Oh, all right. That changes the equation. That does, because that means you got to book 4 of those. Well, yeah, you got to book it twice. So, okay. I wonder, you must be reading something different than I am, because that's not outlined here. American Tarmacer, the Omni in Orlando is awesome. Lazy River is probably in the range from $250 to $500 a night, depending on the time of year. Okay. All right. Well, that's my take on it. Am I going to keep it? It seems like I might be able to get, I mean, I'm not getting a lot of value now, except for Admirals Club access, because I'm getting $240 back. Under this, I'm going to get the $120. I think I can probably do a little better on that, especially if I can find me a cheap couple nights in an Omni and then get a free night. So I don't know. Especially, if I wonder if we can game it like this. Stay in 2 cheap Omnis and then get a certificate that you can use at any Omni. That's the question. So if I can, stay in 2 $225 a night Omnis and then get a certificate I can use for $800, well, that's a pretty good deal. So that's what I've got to do a little research to figure out. Mike says, is that lounge access enough to keep the card? I don't know. I went almost 30 times, so how much is 30 lounge accesses? how much is that worth? That's the question. And that's what I'm debating. So here are my options. I can keep it, or I can clear up that $595, now $695, and I can stick with the Globe that gives me 4 passes. Nona could get another Globe because we're probably going to drop her elite card that gives the 4 passes. But if she got another Globe, that gives us 8 passes. And if she gets the other Globe at 8 with 8 passes, those Globes are justifiable because you get the companion certs, which we will use the companion certs. And then as far as the 8 passes, well, we can easily make American our preferred airline on our platinum cards. And then we're going to get not quite 3 passes. We'll have to pay a little bit extra, but we'll call it 3 passes each. So that's 6 plus 8. That would give us 14 visits to Admirals Clubs a year. And, basically the 2 Globes cost the same as this one card. So maybe that's better. And we get 2 companion certificates, but we only are going to be able to go in Admirals Clubs 14 times. So I don't know. But give me your vote. What do y'all think? Which is a better deal? Sleepy Rod, Omni are cheaper abroad, or at least in Latin America. Okay, that'd be helpful if I can game it to use that free night cert for any hotel. I just don't know how that's going to work. James, the $250 each half of the year is explained in the link from the email City sent me today. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. All right. We got 52 people in here. That's pretty awesome. Like I said, don't have any slides this afternoon, but I did have a few different comments that I wanted to read over and just go through. The first one is from my video that just came out. In fact, I think it came out today. Yeah, it came out at 3 o'clock today, kind of the unedited one that I posted on. If I had to start over, these would be my spending cards. And what I basically did is I talked about how my setup, except for the Palladium, my general spending setup is all cards people can't get anymore. So I just kind of did a thought exercise, and asked, well, what would I do if I couldn't have those? I mean, if my prestige went away, if the custom caches went away, and if, like people think will happen, not everybody, but some people think the built card can't survive like it is. If that were to be true, what would I use instead? So I went through and talked about the card I'd use for dining, for grocery, for gas, for general spend, for airlines, all that kind of stuff. So Matherion commented and said, I struggle with the dining category. Atmos Summit for that 3.3 or Palladium for 3, but with more flexibility in partners and counts towards built status, or Amex Gold for 4%, but less attractive partners. Though with LHW now, do use a hotel or 2 in that group organically already. So Matherian, I think he's asking a legitimate question. Of those 3 different options, which one would you do? Well, for me, the answer is I think the Palladium is a good choice, and the gold card's not a bad choice either, but I would use the Summit at 3.3, because what he didn't consider is, he said, I would use the Palladium so I can get status with built, because status with built's very valuable, because you can, get the transfer bonuses and things. But I think he's discounted that you can also get status. You get 1 status point for every $2 spent on the Atmos Summit card. And for me, that status with Alaska is going to be very valuable because of all my travel with American. And I'm trying to, except for some big international things, I'm trying to now fly my domestic stuff with American that's on points through Atmos, because I think once I'm almost to their lowest level of status, and I'm going to try it out. But I think that's going to be more beneficial, because to do that, you get some status points for flying on the partner with points. So you can't do that with American. So I'm thinking that there's some real value in that. Now the gold, the 4X on the MX Gold is not bad, but I would rather have 3.3X with Atmos, or 3 plus whatever X with Bill than I would the gold. So it'd be my last choice. American Tarmacker. I got approved last night for the business gold 175K offer, but they would not give me the 200. Well, I think 175K is still a really good offer. I would have taken that too. I'm assuming your spend on it is 15K in 3 months. Dem says the problem with running all that spend with Summit is you're pigeonholed into one world for all those redemptions. Build allows for more versatility. Running both concurrently can be optimal. Yeah, and I'm certainly, I agree 100%. But he said dining spend. So the build card can earn on a whole lot of other spend. So if you run them together, you've got both options. But what else are you going to run on the Atmos and really get elevated multiplier? Dining is one of those categories. Now, of course, foreign transactions, but as far as other categories, not so good. So that's, I agree with you, Dem. Dem, with more running through built. Dem, Amex has solid partners with 35% back with business plat is underrated for the airline partners that have suboptimal cent per point. Yeah, I would think so. But I generally fly American or with Atmos. So I'm generally getting better than that. What is it? 1.63 end up being after the 35%. All right. That's the first one I had. The second one I had is on that same video. If I had to start over, these would be my spending cards. So this one's from Calderds. I think I saw him in here tonight. Calderds says, interesting take on this video concept. Usually it's tailored to beginners getting into the game, but this is more of a if I had to use cards like everybody else take. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for, because I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I'm not leaning into this card is the best card for, this, and this, and all of it is for elementary folks who don't know anything about this game. I think that my channel does have some people who are newer to the channel, but I would think on my channel, it's because they want to be deep in the game and they want to learn that. And then a lot of the people who watch my stuff are deep in the game. So I just want to talk to my audience. And so that's why I don't do a lot of those kind of videos. And yes, it very much was like that, Calderds, that I was trying to simply address, if you are deep in this game and you've got the perfect setup, there's no guarantee that perfect setup's going to last. So it was a thought exercise. What would I do in the situation that it didn't? That's basically what I'm looking at. Okay, American Tarmacker, 3 months. I took it. Yeah, it's 15K in 3 months to get that 175,000. I think that's a good deal. I think you did well. And with the gold, you're going to get some good multiplier bumps too, because it's got 4X on 2 highest spend categories. There's a lot of options there. There's a lot of stuff. Coder says, I've been having a devil of a time getting a decent Atmos redemption from DFW, really only off-peak options. Yeah, I know. It is certainly not as wide open as it was, say, 6 months ago. I'm finding that too. No Way Jeffy says, any thoughts of doing the Basque Bank AA Miles savings account? Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I get a really good interest rate on my high yield, and then I've got a local bank that I get 4.75 on, I think, 25K. And so I'm not going to give that up for miles. So that's just kind of where I'm at on it. Sleepy Rod, if you focus on AA with Atmos, you're better off with AA itself. Usually find the worst AA flights with Atmos. That has been true. I'm hoping that it won't continue to be, but it has been true some. Calderds, I'm going to have to do a similar concept now that my custom cash is technically discontinued. Yeah. Hopefully we can keep them for a while. CG, off-peak to from DFW with Atmos has been working for me these last 2 months. Yeah, I mean, I think it's when you're willing to fly. And oftentimes Nona and I, especially if we're going to see family, we'll take the inconvenient flights. It works pretty good for inconvenient flights. Doesn't work too good for the better flights. Dem, Coder, you mean taking off at 5:53 a.m. isn't ideal? I do it. but I get up really early anyway, but I do it. Yeah. Medic, just swinging in to say hi, hanging out at a festival in Portugal. Y'all take care. Hey, Medic, good to have you here. Thanks for being a spreadsheet warrior. CG says the thrill of whether or not that last flight of the night is canceled is too much to pass up. Yeah, that one is rough. When that happens, it is not fun. All right, we got 61 people in here. This is a little more than we have on Sunday afternoon, so maybe it is a good time to have it. Coder says, I don't mind it, but the husband would kill me. Yeah, understood. All right. Juan Garcia commented on that same video. And Juan said, I think Juan's in here too tonight. Juan said, nice video, Bop. I use my 4 custom cash cards for 5X between dining, gas, and groceries. Built Palladium for 3X dining and catch-all, and CSR as a general travel card, 4X airfare. I think that's a really good, solid setup. And that's what we see with a lot of folks who watch my videos and are on my lives. Many of y'all, especially in the Spreadsheet Warrior community, and we have 15 Spreadsheet Warriors now. And when we do our Zoom sessions and discuss, and I'm trying to do them twice a month, where we discuss, and they're recorded if you can't make it, if you're a Spreadsheet Warrior, only videoed for Spreadsheet Warriors. But they're all high-level people. So they're all people who have setups like this. I mean, 4 custom caches. And he's using a CSR with 4X on airfare and using that 4X on airfare. And what's the other? Hotels, I think, is what it has. And then he says Palladium, 3X dining. That's the kind of high-level setup that we're talking about. That's playing the game on honor mode, expert mode, for sure, 100%. So thanks for that comment, Juan. No Way Jeffy says, any guesses on what the new Amex Green will offer? I think that it'll be better than it was, because I think they have to do something, because the refresh on the Sapphire Preferred. My question is going to be, are they going to raise the annual fee or not? I think it's possible they won't, since the Sapphire Preferred did not. I think that's also going to impact the refresh on the City Strata Premier, because, I mean, why raise the price if your competitor isn't? That's not too smart. So I think that'll be an interesting. Now, see, on this AA executive card, they raised it, but their competitors are both higher, right? The reserve card, $650, $695 for the United Club. So that one makes perfect sense. They're just keeping up with the market. Now, what will it have? I think it'll probably have a Resi credit. That's kind of the thing that they do with Amex cards now. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. Good question. American Tarmacker, $1.99 super chat. Thank you. Appreciate you for the gift. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. All right, we got 64 people in here watching at 5:08 p.m. here in Central Time Zone. Juan says, thank you, Bob, for reading my comment on credit card setup and feedback. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's a good setup. I mean, you're getting 5X in 3 categories. I mean, who could ever complain about that? And then you're getting over 3X on everything else. And then you're getting 4X in 2 other major categories. No complaint there. I mean, it's not that far from mine. I'm getting 5X on dining, 5X on airfare, 5X on gas, only getting 3+ on grocery because we use Walmart. So we use the built, and then I'm getting 3 on everything else. So for me, if you're averaging 4 or more, that's an expert setup. If you're averaging 4 or more, that's an expert setup. I mean, high level. So I thought it was great when won. Jamie, hold on. I think I missed the previous comment there. There we go. Jamie says, hey, RM. Good to see you, Jamie. I think you frequent AA lounges quite a bit. My wife is going Denver to ORD and then ORD to Athens business class. Is a 2-hour layover in ORD enough time to visit the AA lounge? Yep, it is. It is. Basically, if I have 45 minutes, I can go in an AA lounge, because if you've got access, I just zip in, get something to drink, get something to eat, go to the restroom, whatever, and then take time if I have it. But if not, because the cool thing about AA lounges is they're almost always close to your gate. And that's my argument all the time that I make. And I know I'm like the only one, is that airline specific lounges are the best lounges because of weight and location. Because, man, if you're a business flyer, or if you, like you, have a 2-hour layover, I mean, you're going to take 25 minutes each direction to switch terminals, or do you need something convenient? The best lounge is the one you can get into and actually use the most. I mean, that's just the truth, in my opinion. Admiral's Lounge. P-Mart Supermart, any guesses on City Clear Card? No, I don't know what they're going to do with that, but I can almost guarantee you it's not going to be a carbon copy of the custom cash. It's not going to be that good. I just don't feel it will be. YouTube experiment, would be cool if Amex Green added a $5 to $10 monthly gas credit at select gas station brands, but doubtful on that. No, I don't think they will, because I think they probably got to get those brands to pay for those credits, and I just don't think gas stations are going to do it. Henry Louisville, good to have you here. Explorer card discount for cheapest first class for daughter back to school is a real winner, since she's allowed 2 70-pound bags with that ticket. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And the Explorer discount, what is it, 10%? I haven't used it much. I have it, but I haven't used it much. You're talking about the United Explorer, I'm guessing. James says to Jamie, I was just at ORD. There are 3 Admirals lounges. The one near the K gates is the best and the biggest one. Yes, I agree. It's a good lounge. Dem, I usually take custom cash and load up a Walmart gift card from CVS when my balance runs low. Took advantage of an Atmos offer at 10.66 all in, stacked with 2.5 back at CVS. Yeah, I need to do that because we spend so much at Walmart. So yeah, I definitely need to do that. That's a great strategy. Just get them at CVS. Coder, honestly, that's why I like the executive card. AA lounges are so convenient. They are. I mean, all of them. I mean, Delta lounges are convenient if you fly Delta, but the problem is Delta lounges have a line sometimes. AA lounges don't have a line. Neither do United, to be fair. So United has the same advantage. I just can't get as good of deals on United. Jamie says, thanks to James. Travel Fan 11, do you think that the green replacement will be another named card? If not, why would Amex change to the classic? I definitely think the annual fee will increase, since the existing green card will remain at $150. Yeah, it may go to $195. I don't know, but I think it's possible it won't, because of what Chase did with the Sapphire preferred card. But as far as what they'll call it, I don't know. The Amex green card has been around forever, and that's kind of a staple of American Express. So I don't know what they'll do with it, to be honest. YouTube, City Clear, I think, will be similar to Wells Balance Transfer Card. Reflect, I think it's called. U.S. Bank has something as well. Okay, so nothing we would be interested in is what it comes down to. Caldares, I've seen good availability and reasonable prices using United through JetBlue. Okay, cool. YouTube, similar to City Diamond, I think it's called. Yeah, I mean, kind of like Mr. Mike Newland's famous Capital One Platinum card, right? Yay, great card. Source King, a 120K upgrade offer on Amex Business Gold to Platinum for 10,000 spent in 3 months is about as good as I'll see, right? Yep, I would take that just like that. I think that looks pretty good. It's my opinion. Jamie, I just got lucky, snagged 1 business class flight Denver to Athens for 60K AA miles and 1 business flight San Diego, I think, to Haneda for 60K. Oh, man. I would love to do that San Diego to Haneda. That'd be awesome. To Japan, that'd be awesome. Maldonado, currently working on Aeroplan Sub, but my setup is CSR for airfare and hotels, Amex Gold for restaurants and groceries, built Palladium for everything else. have a Venture X for Costco and Walmart. That's a pretty, Maldonado, that's a pretty high level setup right there. I like it. That's definitely not beginner or intermediate mode. Jamie says much harder finding the return flights for now. Yeah, that's the problem sometimes is you book a great flight and then you got to find a way to get home. And that can be tough. Matt, wait, a third City Balance transfer card. They have the Diamond Preferred and the Simplicity. Yes, they do. But you got to remember that world, people who carry a balance, that's what keeps the bank running. So, I guess they got to have them. Kale Mary, good to have you here. Clear cash sounds like straight cash back to me, not thank you points. Yep, I think so. And let's see, Mr. Mike Newland gives $9.99. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that very much. Recognize the Capital One Platinum card. Thank you, RM. Yeah, man, you love that thing. Not sure exactly what your arguments are, but everybody's allowed to love what they love. And I love that Mike Newland's such a great supporter. So thank you, Mike. Appreciate it very much. Chad's Money Minutes says, yo, Chad and I have a upcoming collaboration coming up in a little while. So in I think what, Chad, is it next week or the week after? I can't remember right now, but it's coming up soon. Stacy's Travel Points, driving home, listening for nuggets. All right, Stacy, great to have you here. And Jessica Wynn. Hey, RM, good to have you here, Jessica. All right, let's see. Go into the next comment. Don't have many more tonight, but this is on my video that was entitled "The City Custom Cash is Gone, but you may still be able to get one." And this was back when people were still being able to product change. But one thing is needful, is his YouTube name. Says, tried yesterday to product change our City Strata card into a custom cash, no dice. And what I'm hearing is I'm not hearing anyone who has been able in the last couple weeks to product change to a custom cash. I think the product changes to the custom cash are done. I may be wrong. If somebody's been able to in the last couple weeks, please put it in the comments because I want to know. But I think it's done. I think the only people who are going to have custom caches now are going to be people grandfathered in. So let me know. I'm glad I have the 3 I have. So, all right. Noah Jeffy says, I could see Uber One membership replacing Clear on Amex Green. Yeah, neither one of those excite me very much because I have those with other things for sure. Jamie says, Hilton was a monster for booking hotels in Japan. 2 nights at the Hilton Tokyo Bay covered by the Aspire Resort card. 2 nights Conrad Tokyo and 2 nights Conrad Osaka using free night certs and 95,000 points. You did well. You did very well. And I find this to be true sometimes outside the US. Sometimes the resort credit's enough because when we were in Abu Dhabi, we stayed at the Conrad, which is amazing. And it was only $151 a night. And the resort credit is $200. So on a 2-night stay that ended up being $302, I got $200 off just for the resort credit and didn't use a free night cert. And we got free meals, like free breakfast and a free happy hour that had shrimp and all sorts of food and everything at night just because we were Diamond members. So yeah, outside the US, some of that stuff is really powerful. PMAR says, I just tried last night and failed. Yep, that's what's happening with so many. Mike Newland, looking forward to a collaboration with Chad and RM, 2 true road warriors going at it. Yep, Chad and I are very similar in some ways, and we're very different in some ways, but neither one of us are afraid to have strong opinions. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think we respect each other. So I think it'll be good. Joe Phillips, I'm doing Strata Elite and Gold Card for food, Chase Inc. Preferred for travel, Wyndham Business, gas, and utilities, Chase Inc. Cash, 25K, a 5X catch-all, and Venture X for miscellaneous. Well, I know how you're doing the Chase Inc. Cash. I do some of that myself. That's a Gold Card, Strata Elite. I'm guessing you're doing that with the City Nights. Ink preferred for travel. That's good. Getting 3X, 8X on gas. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's a good setup. That's an expert level setup. Jamie, resort credit. Yep. I knew what you meant there. Knew what you meant. All right, American Tarmacker. When my Amex green card annual fee hit, seems like they wanted me not to have the card no more, so I kept it. Yeah, okay. That's a that. I mean, it may turn out to be good that you kept it. Kale Mary, you can't even product change a Strata Elite into any thank you point card. Really? What do they let you change it into? Probably an AA card. YouTube experiment. At least Citi gave a tiny window versus no window to product change, but they would only allow me to pick my double cash. So there's that. Okay. Double cash. Good card though. PC to the double cash. Sleepy Rod, finally 06 in new accounts and inquiries. Which Citi card do you recommend? Okay. If you don't have the Strata Premier, that's an awesome card. I like the Elite card too, if it has a place in your wallet. I have the Prestige, so it just doesn't. It's just not you. We just don't use it. So it's like, and when we do use it, yay, we're getting one extra point. I like that, but I would say the card that you want is probably the Premier card. Kale Mary, only AA, not exec or AT&T card. Okay. Swice is here and says, catching the tail end from the Incheon Airport. I like the Incheon Airport. Did you get into any of the lounges? I went to the One World Lounge. It was a pretty nice lounge. They had some great dim sum in the One World Lounge in Incheon Airport in South Korea. And then I went to the 2 Priority Pass lounge. I had a long time before my flight took off. So I went to both of those. The food in all those lounges was really good. Really good. So yeah, I like the Incheon Airport. Oh, wait, you said 9-hour wait ahead of me here. Anyone have any tips? Transit tours are booked already. Well, I guess I didn't even intentionally do so, but I gave you a tip that you can lounge hop there and the food is pretty amazing. Marrera 3100. What do you think of the opportunity for high-end card that goes against the trends with credits benefits completely different than MX Platinum instead of being knockoffs like the Reserve? Well, I think that the best opportunities are probably with airline cards. I would like to think that Hyatt could make a good one, but I don't think they will. I mean, not one that would appeal to me because I want Globalist. If they had $1,000 a year card that had Globalist, I might consider it. But I think that exactly what you're describing is what the Summit card is from Alaska and Atmos. The Summit card is just so different, and I think so valuable. I really, really, really like it. Feels like it's easier to the Platinum than to copy the Platinum than to compete with it. Yeah, that I mean, if it works, people want to get in on some of that action for sure. Swice, I went to the Sky Hub, a Priority Pass lounge. Actually, pretty good food. Yep, I went to that one too, and it was good food. You saw they had the buffets, and then they had the soup station over there. Yeah, I remember that lounge. It was good. Coder, I'm hoping if you can go to the One World Lounge, it's very good, very good. Coder, I'm hoping on the 23rd the executive gets an elevated sub and relaxed approvals. AA cards are looser approvals than thank you point earning cards anyway. So I think that's a real possibility because anytime there's a new card, it's easier to get. It just is. PMart Supermart, is the 30% MX bonus on Avios worth it? I think it's okay if you need Avios. It's not quite. It hasn't moved me to do a speculative transfer, so it hasn't done that to me. Compliment. I think that's from your previous. Feel like the plat, then compliment with it. Okay. All right. Let's see. Juan Garcia. RM opened HYSA with E-Trade to get a $400 bonus and took my shot to get MX Morgan Stanley Platinum card and was approved. You did. I have an E-Trade account, and I got more than that in there. I've had it for years. Maybe I'll try. Maybe I'll try because that is the one I want. What was your bonus? What'd you get as a bonus? As far as how many points did you get? Did you get 120 or 80 or 100? What was it? I'm guessing it was probably 12,000 spend in 6 months. Let me know, Juan. I'd really like to know. All right, we got about 5 minutes left. That was the last one that I had taken a photo of to talk about tonight. So we have still 59 people in here. That's pretty awesome. I hope that the information was helpful about just kind of my initial thoughts. I haven't studied it deeply enough, but my initial thoughts on the AA executive, it seems like it's going to be a little better for most people. It just wasn't that good before. As far as getting your money back, it's only $100 more, and you still get your AA lounge access, which is the big perk. And so maybe you'll get more. I'll get more back from that, $500 on the AA vacations or something. So we'll see. Dr. Points and Miles, 30% transfer bonus is awesome. Transfer to BA and then balance boost. Excellent way to get 10 plus cents per point. Balance boost. Maybe I'm losing my mind not to know that. Let me know. Juan Garcia, 80K sub for 12,000 spent in 6 months. Yeah. I mean, those generally aren't elevated. I've seen them up to 120, but not often. Sleepy Rod, what do you do with your built points? Well, I have transferred them let's see, what was the last good one? Was it Virgin or something? I don't know. I transferred a lot of them back then, but I've got a pretty big amount that's built up. So I'm waiting for a good transfer bonus. Or if it gets up to a certain number that I have in mind, then I'm going to transfer half of them probably to Atmos, and then just because I just don't want them all sitting there. All right. Any last comments anybody wants to give? I'm going to give a shout out to American Tarmacker, gave $1.99. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. And Mr. Mike Newland also gave $9.99. And he was grateful that I talked about his beloved Capital One Platinum card. Go, Mike. Go Cap One Platinum card. And now American Tarmacker gives 99 cents. Thank you for that. Appreciate it very much. That's a second gift. I appreciate it very, very much. Still got a couple minutes. Any last comments anybody wants to throw in here before we wrap it up? Still got 58 people in here. So that's very, very good on a Monday night. I'm going to try to start doing it around this time on Monday nights. Seems like it works better for people than just doing the Sunday afternoons that I've done. Sleepy Rod, you said you'd tell us your decision on the executive. Right now, from what I'm looking at, I think I'll probably keep it. I mean, I think that it's $100 more, but I think I'm getting more than 100. It's going to depend on the Omni thing. So it's a qualified decision. But if I can get at least that 250 of that value from the American, because I'm assuming if I book American flights, I mean, I could do that for a business trip or whatever, and just call it a vacation and get a rental car in that and get reimbursed, and I'll get $250 back. That's going to make this card better than the old card. So I'm thinking right now, that's what I'm looking at. Thank you, Sleepy Rod. Thank you for reminding me. Henry Louisville, earned my 70K sub on my new United Explorer card this week. Very good. Very good. All right, y'all. Well, I don't see any more comments rolling in, or at least none that I can see. So I think I mentioned there were 3 super chats. Thank you for that, everybody. Kel Mary, CVS in-store Cap One stopped this week for both my cards. Been going consistently, and it always comes back until this week. Or maybe you kind of rode that horse too long. Maybe they're trying to track that. So we'll see. All right, y'all. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate every one of you. And tomorrow night, I will say I do have another live, because it's our special that we alternate off with Travis. And so Travis and I are going to be talking about mistakes that we've made in traveling. He was going to talk about that with Anthony Venture on his live last week, but they got kind of sidetracked on Travis's unique travel style. So he said, hey, would it be okay if we went through this? So we're going to do that tomorrow night. So be watching for that. CJ says, glad I got to make the live. Once I seen the refresh for AA Executive, I was curious to get your input on it. Thanks. Yeah, it's like I said, I've got to dig into it deeper, but on the surface, I think it can't be worse for $100 more because it wasn't very good before. I mean, I was only potentially getting 240 back. I mean, at the very least, I'll be able to get 220 back with just the Avis budget and the in-flight. And then I could get the Omni hotel night, and I could maybe get 250 or 500 on that other for $100 more. On the surface, it seems okay. Spathco, there was a recent article that Avios issued, has grown considerably while redemptions are down. Regional issues blamed, i.e. Qatar, will potentially put pressure on forcing a deval. Well, I hope that isn't true. But devals happen. Manuel Jimenez, hit the like button before you leave. Yes, do that. Hit the like button before you leave. Hopefully more people will watch it in the replay. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody. See you here next time.